Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time. I'm Alan, your host. In this show, we're going to be discussing the Pegasus World Cup Invitational Stakes, a $3 million race for 4-year-olds and up at Gulfstream Park. What we're going to be doing here is going horse by horse, every single horse in the race, talking. Each of us will be weighing in on the horse, saying how we'd use him, whether he's a toss, we'll use him underneath, whatever. Go through each horse, what we like about it, don't like, etc. So we got the bases covered here, and I'm joined by two guest analysts. And just to my right, Robert Funaro, tremendous horse player. He's been involved with horse racing and the ownership end. He's no stranger to being in winner circle photos, in the purchasing of horses, with purchasing teams. And he's also a tremendous player. Goes to the big, he's there for the big events at Churchill Downs, California Chrome. He was there, the infield. And he's also a tremendous player. Very, very solid. One of the top analysts that I know. Very thorough. Has produced big hits over the years. And he's right here. He's been on this show before, producing winners. And some of you might recognize him already. Yeah, he's that guy, Robert. He played Eugene Pontecorvo on The Sopranos for seasons 3 through 6. So some of you might be seeing a different side of him here tonight. Tremendous actor, involved in some of the most memorable scenes in that entire series, The Sopranos. Eye-popping, jarring scenes. Tremendous actor. He's been in movies, American Gangster, most recently in The Irishman, on television, Ray Donovan, Law and Order, regular roles. So, but here he is doing horse racing, but he also is an author now. He has a new book out, Homemade, 8 Sopranos stories and 8 homemade recipes. And you can see on the back cover, there's Robert in a scene from The Sopranos, and there he is in the kitchen. A wonderful book, wonderful recipes, and the stories behind the scenes with these guys. I'll tell you what, Sopranos, they really were like a family off camera as well. And to Robert's right, we have John DaSilva. John DaSilva, many of you in horse racing know, especially from the New York area, recognize this paper, the New York Post. Well, John DaSilva, for 19 years, was the lead horse racing columnist and analyst, gave his picks out every single day that New York was running, whether it's Belmont, Aqueduct, Saratoga, and he gave out gave his top 3 horses, basically, for every race. And he did that for 19 years for the most read newspaper in New York. So, he knows what he's doing, because a top paper like that would replace him if he didn't know what he was up to. 19 years until they unceremoniously let everybody in the racing department, they eliminated the racing department, all of them, Ed Fontaine, tremendous sport racing section, the Post, got rid of them all at one time right before the Belmont Stakes. But yeah, when I used to go to the track, there were so many people at the track walking around with the New York Post. I mean, they sold more New York Posts at the track than they did racing forms. So, and they were reading it, not to read what's going on in the news. They were getting that paper to see what John had to say about these horses. From there, he moved on, a morning line maker at Parks. When you were playing the races at Parks, you saw those morning lines. John made those lines. So he knows what he's doing, professional handicapper. And now he's moved on from there. He's a racing official at Parks. He knows, he's involved in putting together the stakes cards. He knows all the owners, the trainers, the jockeys, and most importantly here for you, the horses. So he knows everybody in the industry, and he even worked he's a licensed jockey agent. So very well versed. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here for this show.
Thank you, Alan. It's a very nice introduction. I am humbled by the introduction. Thank you.
So am I. I'm very glad to be here, and hopefully I can help some people make some money and lead them in the right direction.
So, yeah, that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go horse by horse. John's going to lead off and talk about the horse and whether he likes him, whether he doesn't, or if he's going to use him, if he's going to toss him, if he's going to use him underneath, use him to win, whatever. Yeah. So we're going to go horse by horse, every single horse. So we, listen up, everybody. Make sure you have a pen, and you may want to go back and play this again, because I think you're going to be both entertained and enlightened, and maybe help you make some money, like John just said. And with that being said, let's get started. The Pegasus World Cup Invitational Stakes. It's a $3 million race. And a little bit about the race. It's 1 1/8 miles, $3 million purse. And we'll lead it off with horse number 1, John. Disco Time, 8 to 5. What do you think about Disco Time?
Well, I thought about getting my disco shirt out, but decided not right now. It's too cold out there to do that. But that's it. This horse has done nothing wrong. 5 for 5. Brad Cox, who thankfully, because of my job in the past, I really got to know Brad Cox. Great guy. We have a great relationship, and we talked, and he will talk to me about anything, and he respects me. I respect him, and all that. I mean, this horse has done nothing wrong. Surprising thing, jockey change. You lose Funaro Giroux, but you get the Eclipse Award-winning jockey for the second year in a row, Flavien Prat. You can't say it's a negative, because that's going to be a positive 100 times out of 100 times. He draws the rail. What's going to be interesting is if you look at the horse's past performances, he has one race where he did not break well, was close to the early pace, and that was in the Great Three Lecomte, where it was a sloppy track, and he was far back early. Now, Gulfstream Park, the past couple of days, they've had a sloppy track. I don't think it's going to be raining. Hopefully they'll be working on a track, try to make it fast for tomorrow. But you just have to wonder, was the horse uncomfortable that day? That's why he was so far back early. Because all the other races, he was right there on a very close to the early lead. And when you're breaking from the rail in a big field like this, you don't want to break bad, especially from the rail, and basically be forced to be further back than what you want to be. So hopefully Pratt got to know the horse a little, got on the horse a couple of times. They're comfortable with each other. He breaks well. The other thing you have to wonder about is the class, because he's never been in the Grade 1 race like this race is going to be tomorrow. He's never been in the Grade 2 race. And in the Grade 3 race in the Compt, really the only horse of substance that he ran against was Magnitude, who that was before Magnitude ran a hole in the wall and became Magnitude what he is today. So you just have to wonder if this horse classy enough to beat these, because he's also never faced older horses in his career. All the races against 3-year-olds. He's going to be the 8 to 5 favorite. He's going to be the post-time favorite. He's been working out very well. You have to respect him. Can he win? Yeah. Will I make him my top choice? Probably not, because I think, if he could be pace compromised, because there are some other speeds in the race that could put pressure on him. So I think he can win, but he's not going to be my top choice.
Okay, so how are you going to use this horse? Will you use him on top at all in anything?
I'll be playing him doubles and pick 3. I mean, he definitely could win, so I'd be crazy not to him at all. He just won't be my number 1 choice, but he'd definitely be used on my tickets.
Okay, not number 1, but use. Okay. Robert, what do you think about Disco Time?
Exactly what John said. He's a very dangerous horse. Speed is always dangerous. Brad Cox has him ready. Question is, as Alan said, this is a big race. He's got to show his class now. This is basically the litmus test. He's not my number 1 choice, but I think I had put him in some doubles. So I mean, I think I wouldn't discount him, but I wouldn't play him to win, and especially at that price. So I mean, not for me. But I do respect Brad Cox, and that's my feeling on the horse. Dangerous.
Oh yeah, yeah. What I think about Disco Time, I agree with John about possibly being pace compromised in this race. Both by number 3, Full Serrano, and Micah, the outside horse, they might beat this one to the punch. He didn't have the lead at the first call last time, but we'll have to see. And I think the class is a bit of a problem. I'd be fearful to leave this one out entirely. He's not my top choice. I'll use him. If I use him anywhere, I'll use him in a multi-race play, but you're not going to see me. Maybe if I key a horse, you're not going to. Maybe if I key a horse first, second in a trifecta, for example, and in my key horse is in the second position, I'd have Disco Time as one of the ones on top with others. I wouldn't put him on top alone. So not my top choice, but I wouldn't exclude him. And in multi-race plays, I wouldn't exclude him. I wouldn't want to, get knocked out of a big multi-race play knocked out by an undefeated horse. That's by Brad Cox. So, and he ran a very big thoroughgraph number his last race, a -2. Yeah, the 1 1/8. Can he get the 1 1/8? I don't know. I'm looking at his Brisnet numbers. I use Brisnet and thoroughgraph combined. His Brisnet late pace is not overwhelming. So he seems to put up his early energy expenditures in the first 2 stages of the race. The late stage, he winds it down a little bit, whereas some of the other ones, they pick it up. So, and not my top choice, but I'll use. Number 2, John, British Isles.
Intriguing horse. I mean, David Fox has been a mainstay in South Florida for many years. He's always been one of the top trainers, especially at Calder. This is a horse who had been running with Richard Baltus in all his starts prior to that. So this is his first time, David Fox. It's intriguing because he ran second in the Grade 3 Native Diver. He ran to Nevada Beach and then came back and gave Nisus all he could handle recently. This horse had been a grass horse. So he's limited on dirt. Maybe the connection saw something that he could be a dirt horse, especially after running in the Native Diver. You just have to wonder what they saw, because sometimes these things happen. His first 3 career starts were on the dirt. Then he ran all of his next races on grass, 18 in a row.
Unbelievable, yeah.
And now he's back on dirt. I mean, I'm saying he's going to beat this horse, but look at Cigar. He began on dirt. He was in California, ran him on grass, ran all those races on grass, sent him to a new trainer, puts him on dirt, and look what he did. I'm not saying British Isles is going to do that. I'm saying these things can happen. The horse had good tactical speed. That day going 1 1/8, in the Native Diver. Granted, it was a 4-horse field, so he might be further back in a race like this tomorrow. But it's going to be interesting that he's bringing his California jockey to ride him as well, and he's been working out well as too. I mean, the owner Slam Dunk Racing, they've done pretty well in the past. He's 20 to 1 morning line. He's probably going to be higher than that at post time. Am I going to use him? Probably not, because I just don't know what this horse is. And to me, I don't know if I trust what he did on the grass to translate on the dirt, because that 4-horse field, he was close to the pace. I don't know if the plan is to be close to the pace or not. That's the thing. We don't know. And sometimes you have to cut and not use horses, and this is one of those horses. I'm not saying he's got no shot, but he's probably a horse that if I need to save some money or not use as many horses, he's probably the ones I would have to take out.
Okay. Probably got it. Robert, what do you think of British Isle?
I think it's a tall task Although I respect David Fawkes, but it's a pretty tall task for this horse to win this great graded stakes race. I mean, as John pointed out, he's lost his last four. Well, Well, actually, no, he won it, but it's going from turf to dirt. But it's not for me. It does have that Justify Scat Daddy, but he's run in grass, and as John said, 4 for 4 in a 4-horse field is very different than a larger field. That that this is going to be a very contentious race up front, and Herrera is going to have to ride like the wind to win this one. So I'm going to pass. I mean, I'm going to pass on him. I don't have too much more to say.
Okay, I got down as a toss. He's a toss for me too. And I will have a quick question for John about this horse. He's overclassed. He's coming out of a G3. One thing here about these speed figures, I mentioned I'm using Brisnet and Thurgraph and Falk. You have to, Robert, 100%. Yeah, Falk, he's 27% here at Gulfstream Park. You have to respect this trainer. You talk about the speed figures. They say Brisnet. They say he comes out of Brisnet out of the whole field with the highest speed rating in the race, which is 105. No other horse in this race, Disco Time, none of them can match British Isle, 105. But now I go to the Thurgraph, and by the Thurgraph, he's painfully too slow. He ran a 3 in that last race, which is pathetic compared to Disco Time, White Barrio, a bunch of horses in the field. He has one of the slowest. So he must have had a dream trip or something. This doesn't even look like he had a dream trip, but he has a very poor sheet number. And I think he's outclassed in this race.
You have to remember one thing. It was a 4-horse field. It's not like he was going to be running wide,
Yeah.
to get better numbers what he was.
Okay, right. Excellent point, Jed. Yeah, but by the numbers here, even with the 4-horse field, he looks painfully too slow, and at least by the sheets. And even his turf numbers weren't that great. They're actually much worse. Now, here's the question I wanted to ask you, John. They called us the World Cup Invitational. How did this horse qualify to get into this race?
You call up and ask.
Okay.
I mean, this is basically what happens. You call up and you tell them you're interested in running in the race, and then they invite you.
Okay.
Just like I called up and asked if I can get a couple of tickets to the Pegasus, and they didn't invite me.
Okay, that
It's still different.
Because you want to invite horses who are going to come. So you let them know ahead of time that you're interested in running and being invited, and that you would come if invited. And I'm sure.
Okay, so it's not like one of these other races that
I didn't make it.
It's not like one of these other races where they put together, you have to qualify, and they put together a list of horses that qualify. Okay, and they invite. Okay.
Yeah, look,
Thanks,
I
John.
go out there and invite Sovereignty, but he wasn't red training. So why would you invite him? You want to invite horses who are in training, who have a shot to go, because you don't want to go say, "Oh, I got all these horses invited," and then half these horses aren't going to show up. So you want to know ahead of time who's going to be coming, or who has a shot of coming, so you can invite them.
Okay. Thanks, John, for the clarification on that. John, going down to number 4, Banishing, 20-1.
3, you're skipping full throttle.
Oh, did I? Full Soriano.
Yes.
No, wait. I'm sorry. 3. Number 3, Full Soriano.
Please, no slights against Argentina, Alan.
How can I leave this one out? This one looks live. This looks like one I'll let John go. Talk about this one.
Don't forget about Argentina.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
This is an intriguing horse, because when you first look at him, you're thinking, and what you know about him, he's got no shot. He's a miler. Not necessarily, folks. Look in the Pacific Classic. He ran second. Granted, it was Mixto who was long shot that day, but he had the lead and ran second, going a mile and a quarter. The other time he ran over a mile in North America, was a grade 1 Goodwood, and he ran second to Nevada Beach, who we talked about in the last start, with the last horse as well. So this horse, I'm not going to say he's distance compromised in this race, because he can definitely get it. You just have to wonder is, again, the speed. He's on or close to the early lead in all of his races in North America, and he's shipping over John Sadler. Now, in the past, Sadler had a reputation. He couldn't win outside of California. Then eventually that changed. He knows what he's doing. You got Joel Rosario, who rode him in the dirt mile that he unfortunately tired against Nisos that day. But, he did have the greatest of trips. He makes his first start since then. You have to respect them. The only question is, will the speed and being part of a possibly fast pace do him in, especially coming off the layoff like that? He's got an inside post position, so I don't think he wants to be too further back. He wants to be on the very close to the early lead. Again, he's a type of horse I like, I respect, but I can't go with all these speed horses because I have to give some of these horses coming off the pace a shot. And I think in the end, if he might tire at the end, so I would have to go against Phil Serrano here.
Okay. Total toss?
I thought about it, but I think in this case, I think he's going to tie, because that's one thing. If you're going to
okay, so you don't like him, but would you use him underneath? I guess is the question.
I would probably use them in the multi races, but I don't think
I got it.
It's because with speed horses, when they tire, they're going to drop back, and usually when they drop it, they'll be off the board at that point. So he's one of these type of horses. I might use him in the multi race exotics, but I won't use him underneath in exactas or trifectas.
Got it. Thanks, John. Robert.
I really don't have much to say. I don't think he's the horse for the course. John is the expert, in terms of the the speed, and it's going to be a lot of speed here. So I'm going to toss Full Serrano. I do respect him, though. I mean, and I respect John Sadler. Now, he maybe get a little piece at the end. Maybe you get a little piece, but it's not the winner for me,
Okay.
And as you said, he's running. He used to run a mile, but he came to 1.5. He was 6 of 6. There were six horses in that field. He's going to run against a pretty big field here, and these babies. Well, I'm going to pass. Just say that. I know. Yeah.
Okay. Full Soriano, I think actually, in his 1 1/8 race, 2 back in the Pacific, he did run a negative number, Thorograph sheet number, and he's run a couple of those. As one is a 5-year-old, one is a 6-year-old. The negative at last year was this year was at Santa Anita, and the other one was at Del Mar. So, and he looks like he's coming into this well rested. I'd use him in the multis. I don't think he's going to win. I think he's one of the ones that might hurt Disco Time's chances early pace. But
yeah,
I think I maybe spread for third in a trifecta or a multi-race play. Decision time, but I'm just pointing out that he has run some of the fastest Thorograph numbers of any of these in this race, and he has the class. He's running a bunch of G1s since he's running in America, so he looks like a decent horse. I'll have to think about that, but I don't like him on top. Maybe underneath or in multis. I don't see this one winning. No, toss from the win position for me. Maybe multis, toss though as far as the win goes. Not even in multi-race plays. I don't think. All right. Decision on that, but I'm not going to be. I don't really like him compared to the others. All right. John, number 4, Banishing, 20-1. Jacobson or Jose Ortiz.
This is a very intriguing horse. I mean, David Jacobson, some people love him, some people hate him. He's very aggressive, not afraid to take shots. He's a horse who won the Charlestown Classic last year, being Skippy Longstocking.
Wow.
And he was bet down that day. He was up 5-2. And then he comes back, ran into Lucas Classic, where he ran third to Mystic Dan and Disarm. And then because of licensing issues, they had to put the name under Chad Summers' name in the Breeders' Cup. He wasn't David Jacobson was not suspended or not penalty. It was just there were some licensing issues that he couldn't get fixed in time prior to the race, and workman's comp too. So that's why he ran under Summers' name. But that horse showed absolutely nothing that day. He comes back at Oklahoma Park going 6 furlongs. He ran second, and now he's going a mile and eighth. But that's Jacobson. He does stuff like this a lot. He doesn't do things out of the normal book, So he's his own man with his own training methods and everything else. One thing which I think some people are wondering about was his last workout. Where the hell is that? Nobody's ever heard of it. Well, let me tell you, that's a training center in Arkansas where Diodoro has horses and a few others. I know Jacobson and Diodoro have been pretty close in the past. Some people have theories. I'm not going to get into that because who knows if that's true or not. It would not be fair to accuse them of anything because, look, if you're going to do something, you're going to get caught eventually. And that hasn't happened to Jacobson. So until you do something that says you're guilty, you're not guilty. So I'm not going to fall into that trap. I'm not going to pick him because he's done this, he does that. I know he might be clean for all we know. So give the man the respect he deserves because he's a long-time trainer who knows what he's doing. This horse has learned how to come from off the pace. He used to be on close to the lead. But again, you just have to wonder, what type of trip he's going to get against these. Have the inside position will help. But will he be able to get through? And he's got Jose Ortiz riding him. And Ortiz ran him at Churchill Downs. He ran second in the Hanshin, last June. So it's not like he doesn't know the horse. He's been second by neck a couple of times with them. He was second in the Churchill Downs on Derby Day last year with him in the Grade 1. So they said, is Banishing, could he be right there at the end? Yeah, he could be right there. I mean, I can't pick everybody to win. But he finished in the he's got the running style where if I think he does what he's supposed to do, he definitely could finish in the money. But like I said, you can't pick everybody on top. And sometimes you have to take back. But I will say this. Will you get 20-1 on him? I think he will get bet a little bit because I think hopefully Alan will confirm this for me or not. He's got some sheet numbers that can make him very tough here.
Yeah, he has 6 negative numbers in 2025. No one else can come close to touching that. And he has Jose Ortiz. He has the best sheet numbers, consistently negative. Yeah, that's eye-popping.
It's me?
Yeah.
I think it's I think I respect David Jacobs. He's the king of the long shots, right? He's the I forgot they had a nickname for him at Aqueduct. He'd always put in horses, impossible horses, and they would win, And bettors who liked David Jacobson were rewarded. I know a good friend of his, Frank Pagano. I don't know if John knows him. Frank was a great lover of David. He wrote a book about him. My buddy, I think it's called My Buddy, about their experience together. And John lives in France now, and he had a turf horse there. It was a very good turf horse called Gray something. So they were good friends. I didn't really get a chance to meet him, but I met some of his family. But I just think that he's a talented horse. I love Go Zappa, but he's not the horse for me. I think they're trying too hard. They're pushing it too hard. You look at the trail and the last couple of races. I just think that they tried the Breeders' Cup Sprint, didn't work. Now they're trying this the Pegasus World Cup, and I respect David Jacobson, but I don't think this is it. I don't think I'd be very surprised. And maybe an exotic's possibility, but he's a toss for me.
Okay. Maybe exotics toss. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this one, yep, I'll definitely use him in the win spot. I'll use him in multis. I have no problem using him in a box or a key somewhere in an exacta, or include him with others. I think he's very dangerous. I love the numbers. I like that. He even has good Brisnet numbers. He's G1. It says he got stuck in traffic in Breeders' Cup Sprint. He's had some G2s. What did win a G2? Jose Ortiz has ridden this horse twice this year, and both times he lost by a neck. Once by getting run down and nailed at the wire, and the other time coming from out of the clouds and almost getting there. So Ortiz, two second place finishes by a neck. Has the grade. He's won nearly $2 million, earned nearly $2 million as the horse. I just think he has the numbers, and I think with the early pace horses in this race, I see this one as having a shot to benefit from possible pace breakdown. And Jose, it looks like Jose Ortiz has ridden him two different ways here. One time he almost wired the field at a mile at Churchill, and the other time he came out of the clouds and lost by a neck. So it looks like he's a push button horse, and if anyone can handle a horse like that, it's Jose Ortiz. I see him as a contender. I'll be using him, sure. Number 5, Skippy Longstocking. John, 15-1.
The old man, this is his 4th appearance in the Pegasus in his career. He's been in the last 3 runnings in the Pegasus. Unfortunately, he only has a 3rd place finish, a 7th place finish, and eased in those other 3 appearances. A horse ran and won the Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday last time out. In the prep for this race, this horse, unfortunately, showed nothing at Charlestown and was given some time off after that race. Hey, but he's tough as nails. And when he's on his game, he's just as good as anybody out there. Just the one thing about this horse is when it comes to the Grade 1s, he just doesn't get them, and it's unfortunate. I mean, he's a horse anybody would love to have in their barn. I mean, he goes out there, he gives it everything he has. Just, I don't know if he's a Grade 1 horse, and granted, this may not be the ultimate Grade 1 field, but still Grade 1. And I just have to wonder what's going to happen. I mean, I love Skippy. Safi has done a great job with him. I get along with Safi great. He's a great guy, great trainer, and all that. You got Tyler Gaffalione, right? But I just had to take a pass on him here. I just don't think he could beat these.
Okay. What do you think about him, Robert?
Oh, well, he needs to be respected. He's not the horse for me. I respect Safi, Joe Safi. I mean, he'll definitely have him ready for the race. But good horse, almost $4 million he's made. I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty good.
How was the 36 start tomorrow?
Huh?
36 career start tomorrow. How often you that in grades?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I respect him. He beat Poster, which really killed me. I really loved Poster that day, but I'm gonna pass on Skippy Longstocking. We ran a really hard race the last race, but I do respect him. But I just think that there's some others that I'd rather favor as opposed to him.
Okay. Thanks, Robert.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this guy, $3.7 million earner, 35 starts. He's passed for. When I saw him run up at Saratoga on the 2nd, what was that, Whitney Day or something? He folded like a tent. It was just he looked like he was making a move, and he just pitched tent. I don't know. I don't like the. he's 1-4 at this track. I think he's overmatched. And the G1, John, yeah, it just completely escapes him. And I've heard it said, John, that the biggest difference in classes as far as these graded stakes go, they say the jump from G3 to G2 is not as dramatic. The biggest jump is from G2 up to G1. Would you agree with that?
Probably not as much as it used to be, because trainers are now taking more time in between races and not running them as much. But it still does apply at times.
Okay. So he's coming out of a heck of a prep race, yeah, against Poster, Robert. Yeah. And and Poster's in that race. And we're going to be discussing him in a second. Well, I'll save this till Poster comes up. Okay, he's a toss for me as well. Skippy Longstocking. Respect the heck out of the horse. By the Thorograph numbers, he's a 0 machine, which is a very fast race, and 0. And he actually sprinkles in the occasional negative number, and he wins races. But against these, I think he's up against it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'll pass. And number 6, now Medocket Road, John. He scratched. What are the implications of the scratch of this horse, and would you have liked him?
I probably would not have liked him. I mean, he's a horse who has run a lot of races, but basically he's been disappointing because he hasn't taken the next step. I mean, he looked great breaking his maiden, going 6.5. He comes back in the 5-horse field, and Bob Lewis ran 3rd. Then he shipped him to Oaklawn to run 2nd in the Rebel. They shipped him to Gulfstream Park to run 4th in the Grade 1 Florida Derby. Like, they were trying everything possible to get him ready to go to the Kentucky Derby, but he just wasn't good enough. So they ran him Derby Day in the Pat Day Mile, and he ran 2nd that day. And then he comes back in Woody Stevens. He runs 2nd in Grade 1. He comes back in the Perkins. He's 5th, and then they give him time off, and he comes back in the Malibu, and he was up close to the pace for tiring to finish 4th. And you got Mike Smith coming in, but like I said, this is a horse who, if he had run, I don't think I would have taken him in the money at all.
Robert, what do you think?
I really don't have anything to say. I'll pass my time. I yield the floor to Alan Horvath.
Okay, here's the deal on Medocket Road. I think there's nobody happy about the scratch of Medocket Road than Brad Cox, because this one really would have hurt Disco Time's chances, because this would have been the speed of the speed, and he's going to go, and he would have been probably the leader in this race, or if not, he would have been putting up wicked fractions. Yeah, I wouldn't have used him at all, but I think this really helps Disco Time's chances of getting Medocket Road out of there. John, number 7, Tappan Street.
Well, we talk about Brad Cox a lot. Well, we haven't mentioned Brad Cox trainee. Now, this is a horse who's very intriguing. He won first time out at Park, going 7 furlongs. He comes back in the Holy Bull, made a middle move to gain the lead before finishing 2nd. But you have to remember one thing. Gulfstream Park mile and 16th races do not end at the regular finish line. They have to end at the 16th pole. So many of these horses make a middle move or early move than expected because of that. And I think that's what happened with Tappan Street. He made that middle move to get himself in position to take the lead, and it was probably too early. 2nd career start, first time 2 turns, runs 2nd. Comes back in the Florida Derby, lo and behold, regular finish line, regular length of the stretch. He beats Sovereignty. Now, granted, Sovereignty didn't have his jockey that day because he was hurt, but he still beat Sovereignty in his final prep for the Kentucky Derby. Unfortunately, Tappan Street got hurt, had a lot of time off, comes back in an optional claiming race at Gulfstream Park, going a mile, showed better early speed, and he wins the race. Yes, it was a 6-horse field, and I think he's going to be a little further back this time than he was in his last start. Got Luis Saez riding, who's been on in the first 3 starts, including the Florida Derby. And to me, This horse is extremely dangerous. Brad Cox knows what he's doing. He knows this horse has done very well at Gulfstream Park, which is why he brought him back into this spot and everything else. He's been training at Gulfstream, at Payson Park, which is not down the road, but not far from Gulfstream Park. Cox does have a bunch of horses down there for the winter. He's my top choice. Because if this horse is good enough to beat Sovereignty, I don't care that Sovereignty didn't have Junior Alvarado that day. That's still a feat. And for this horse, who's light raced, 5th career start, but I think Brad Cox knows what he's doing. He's prepping him very well into this spot. The workouts are showing it. He gets back his jockey. And if I get that pace, which I suspect I'm going to get with some of these speed horses up front, he's going to be able to take advantage of that and get up for the victory.
Okay.
Well,
Robert.
I like to walk on the sunny side of the street. I like to walk on Tappan Street. Me and John, we agree. His is my top choice. I watched his last race. He's an Into Mischief, bought for $1 million. You throw out that he's lightly raced, but I think Brad has this horse ready to go. He can do both. He proved it last time. He can stay on the lead, but I think this time he's gonna set. I watched the Florida Derby, and he liked that extra half a panel, and I wanted to ask John about the next horse, and I'll ask him then when my turn is when it's my turn. But he's one of my top picks, and I think he really ran he's back is all I can say, and I think Brad's definitely going to have him ready to go. And, I think Saez, if he's patient enough, this horse is capable of winning. He beat Sovereignty, my favorite horse of 2025. I just think he's ready to go. And he's one of my top picks, Tappan Street. I'll yield the floor to Alan.
Well, Robert, I was talking with Robert earlier and talking about Tappan Street, and he's kind of turned me on to Tappan Street. And the more I look at it, even the sheet numbers, he ran a 1 when winning the Florida Derby, and now he had to lay off, and then he comes back. And the 1 is very quick as a young 3-year-old, and now he's matured almost a year. So he's obvious. And this one, that was a prep race, and I'm looking at the notes there. He was bumped at the start and pressed too wide. So he actually got off to a bad start, and he still put up a decent number and beat Sovereignty. Definitely a contender. I can't leave this horse out. And John alluded to the pace scenario that benefits him. He's never finished worse than second. There's G1 winner in the Florida Derby, beat Sovereignty. Yeah, it's 3 wins in a second. Lightly raced. Yeah, definitely a win contender. Yeah, definitely.
And John, you think that that 6-1 will stay or will stick?
Because of the big field, it might stick. I think it all depends if a horse like Guadabario takes money or not.
Yeah.
Because if Guadabario doesn't take money, I think it's going to go on to a horse like Tappan Street. Like the Cox will have the favorite. With Disco Time, but if Tappan Street goes off the second choice, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
We just have to wait and see because the solid second choice in this race, I don't know if we actually have one yet.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a field, yeah. Okay, and we move on to number 8, Poster, John. 20-1?
20-1. Well, he's 4 for 7, but he's never run in the grade 1. And his grade 2 victory came as a 2-year-old, at Aqueduct in 2024. So basically it's been like grade 3s, which he didn't win any last year. Or, his only victory came in against an optional claimer on the grass. So a lot of people wondering, what is Poster? Is he a grass horse? Is he a dirt horse? Because you look at him on the grass, he's 3 for 3. He's like, whoa, this horse is something. But he's not bad on the dirt either. I mean, look at the start in the Holland's Holiday. He had the lead and fought Mississippi to the end and finished second by a head. And he was favored that day.
And John, just ask you, do you think that short stretch that the jockey moved a little bit too quick? Because you had mentioned that.
Yes.
That might have been Posters, because I kind of noticed that what you're talking
Mhm.
about. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, because the way Gulfstream Park is set up, they have the 1-turn mile, but it's not, it's a mile and eighth track, just like Aqueduct. But you don't see mile 16th races at Aqueduct because if they were to start at where they're supposed to, it's too close to the turn, and it would be unfair to everybody. So what they did is they start at the mile where they start mile and eighth, at the finish line, but they end at the 16th pole, which is further up the stretch, which means it's a short stretch, and a lot of horses make their moves early because of it. And to me, if I have a 3-year-old, I don't want that for my 3-year-olds because I want them to get used to a long stretch after a battle. And to me, that doesn't help to develop. It only takes special, in my opinion, special horses can adjust and handle it, but not every horse can handle it. Even with older horses, like a horse like Poster, I think he may have cost him the race because he probably moved too early. Because look at his running style. He was 7th at the first call, 6th at the second call. He was 5th, but then he was making that move around the turn to get himself in position, got himself lead, but he just couldn't sustain that and did finish second by a head.
Great
So
point.
you have to look at that race and see, okay, with the regular stretch drive, with the regular finish line, he can ride his horse normally. Is this horse good enough and can he adjust? And the one interesting thing here is he's adding blinkers as well.
Yes.
So hopefully, he's never run with blinkers before. He might show some better tactical speed, or might get into focus a little bit because maybe that's something they found out in the Holland's Holiday that he needed to focus better. So maybe the addition of blinkers could make that happen. Now you got Ian Hardy, and he's like a Dolphin homebred. I mean, there's a reason Godolphin has been winning Eclipse Award all these years as breeders. They know what they're doing, So whether it's owner breeders, they won many awards because they know what they're doing here. And you got 20-1. You got Junior Alvarado, who we've seen was on Sovereignty, and he won Brasilia in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. He won many other races. He can win for other people other than Bill Mott. And to me, at 20-1, you have to use him. Because I think this horse is on the up and up. Maybe he is a better grass horse, but against these with a possible pace situation and all that, at 20-1, I think you have to use him because there's always going to be a horse who might be overlooked. Maybe this is a horse that gets overlooked here. So maybe you might get higher than 20-1 here. Who deserves to be lower? So to me, Hope will be my second choice.
Well, I'm glad that John clarified that for me because I was telling you, Alan, that I thought that early move on the 4th call.
Yes, you were.
I did mention that to you. So I think that Junior, and he's a great rider. Sovereignty's a perfect example that he'll have him in position, and the blink is on. It adds another element to Poster. It's funny because I'm landing on the same horse as John is. He is my second choice. And I have him up there. And at 20-1, I think he's a great bet. I mean, I like closers in this particular mile and eighth race. And if the speed breaks down and he's just run correctly, I think he's got a real good shot. He came back and he showed a different element in the Harlan's Holiday to me. And I just think he's a good horse. And he's in my picks, 7-8 in my picks. Yes.
All right. I'm impressed with the horse. I definitely think he has a better chance of hitting the board at least than not. The horse has really done nothing wrong. His 3 races on turf, going by the sheet numbers again, he got faster and faster and faster, 13, 12, and down to 6 in his 3 turf races. So it gets faster every time on the surface. And in his dirt races, he went down each time, 6 down to 4, now a 2 at Gulfstream. So what's he going to do now? His first start as a 4-year-old. With this progression, he could throw a 0, maybe even a negative, and he keeps getting better. More familiar he gets with the surface. I hope they never put him back at Turfway Park again. Even there, he made a run of it at the end and got a few Kentucky Derby points by finishing 4th. He came on, but it's, for some reason I don't think he liked it, even though they train him there. Yeah, can he win? Yeah. He's not my top choice. Would I use him in underneath in plays? Yeah, maybe exactas or a try or a super play. Multi-race plays, I will use him as one of the win choices, because I think I think I got some good live ones in the 12th race. We're not talking about that race, but I'm going to spread there in a daily double, and he'll be one of the ones I'll be using in the win spot. But a straight win bet, no, not for me. But he's a good horse. He's on the improve. I think he's going to make some noise this year. Definitely a win contender, though. I prefer others. I'll save my win bet for somebody else for the 4-horse Banishing if I do something. But Poster, okay. Nice horse. Captain Hook Cook, John. Question, John. Why did he go? I'll let you go. Go with your stuff. I'll ask the question when it's my turn.
But I know the question you're going to ask, and sometimes, people want to make a change. I mean, Vinny Viola.
John, do you have a crystal ball?
Well,
Okay.
It's a question I've been asked by other people in the past,
Okay.
Vinny Viola, he owns the Florida Panthers. He's seen Elias Stable, and he's had lots of success with horses with Mike Rapoli. With his Rapoli trainer, Todd Pletcher. Now, yes, he supported Dutcho and everything else, but sometimes you make the change, and a guy like Todd, you can't go wrong. And look what happened. First time Todd Pletcher, he almost won the Grade 1 Allen Jerkins, at 20-1. Now, this is a horse who has run well, going a distance in the past, but as you saw in his races, he was like close to the pace and tiring. So you just have to wonder if this is going to happen. I mean, yes, he won the Withers, got a mile and an eighth, but that's Aqueduct in February. Not many Derby horses are ready to go a mile and an eighth in February. And not many Derby horses are going to be in New York in February. So he wasn't exactly beating a strong field that day. So he's up against the toughest horses in his career going a route. It's going to be interesting to see, how he does, because he hasn't run since October when he ran second in the Perryville at Keeneland. He has been working very well. I mean, Viola, obviously, since he is owning the Panthers, he's there. This is his backyard, because the Panthers are far from Gulfstream Park. He got Johnny V, who was a deserving finalist for Jockey of the Year in the Eclipse Awards. He did finish 3rd in the voting. I don't know, because again, I think he's been close to the pace. I just don't think he's going to be able to last at the end of the tire. So I had to go Captain Cook here.
Okay. Pass.
He's 98-day absence, and I don't know how 98-day absence is a pretty long time to me. So I don't know how good he's going to be. I mean, Todd Pletcher, I respect him tremendously. I mean, we talked about him today, that maiden special weight at 9-2. Todd Pletcher, Flavin Pratt, that's a gift. But in this particular race, I think that he's stretching out and asking a lot of the horse. I mean, I would wait. I would he appeared to be, a very good horse. I remember, I think I put $20 for him in the Derby future, but I was let down. I think you did too, Alan. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I put 20 on him, and I put 20 on Poster.
And we were let down. Poster too, yeah. But I'm going to pass on Captain Cook. And it's hard to pass on Todd Pletcher on the dirt, but this time I am.
On my opinion, I think this is a good, excellent 7 for a long horse. I think he's up against it in this field. I'm not sure why they're going with him in this race. I think what I think he will do is I think he's going to give Disco another one that's going to give Disco time fits on the front end because he runs typically fast of early fractions. Thoroughgraph, besides their sheets, they also have pace charts that show how fast the horses go average on different surfaces early. And Disco Time has he shows that he runs the early lead, takes the first call, but these charts take into account the run-up time, which the first call time doesn't take into account. And there are multiple horses in this race, Captain Cook included, that I think he's going to hurt Disco Time's chances. And I think he's like both of you guys talked about, he's distance challenged. Nice horse. I think he's at the wrong distance in this race. I'm going to pass. I'm not even going to use him on. I don't know. Maybe at 15-1, I might be tempted to use him third and below, because I noticed he never misses the board. The one time he did was at 1 1/8. But even then, at 1 1/8, he's hit the board, and he's with Todd now. And Todd, when you 90 days and up over, he still manages to get them ready, and they win at 16%. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's third or below, or pass completely. I'll see. I got to see what it looks like. I don't like him to win, that's for sure, or second. Okay. And Johnny V, John, what a year he's had, man. I was thinking the guy was starting to slide a little bit, and he's really been strong last year. And
gotta give him all credit in the world. I mean, the man is riding as well as ever. I mean, some people thought he was getting ready to retire, and proving them wrong.
Union Rags, man. I was there. Watch him win on Union Rags, baby. Johnny V on Union Rags at the track.
Where was that? Aqueduct, right?
I think it was Belmont.
Belmont?
I think it was Belmont. I'm not sure.
I think he did win it. All right. Yeah. Union Rags. Number 10, John Micah.
This is an interesting horse. He began his career with Mike Maker. He got hurt, came back in Brittany Russell's barn. Now, Russell has been known to get good horses from other trainers, but usually it's the Bob Baffert cast-offs or horses that come back after injury. And then they send to the East Coast. The horse did not start off well, but then all of a sudden, off the turf race at Delaware Park, the horse showed speed for the first time and just clicked. Comes back at Laurel, wins the allowance race. Then they send the horse to the Cigar Mile. They give it back to Mike Maker. Horse sets the pace, runs second by neck. So I think we know what this horse wants to do, which is go to the lead and battle for the lead. And he's still with Maker. You got Manny Franco, coming in to ride, who rode him in the Cigar Mile. You just have to wonder, is the horse going to improve off that performance going 2 turns against these? Because his 2-turn races that he's won on the dirt, were not stake races. I mean, he ran those 4 races after the maiden win, they're all on grass as well. So he only had 1 stakes race in his career on dirt, and that was the Cigar, which is a 1-turn mile. I mean, he's 10-1. I mean, I think some people are going to like him because he's got some fast figures in his last couple of starts. I'm probably going to go against him, though, because I think his running style tells me he's a need-to-lead type, and I don't think he can wire the field versus these and hold on for the victory.
You like him underneath or anything?
No, with his type of running style, I think he's like an all-or-nothing horse.
Okay.
I really don't think I can expound more than what John said there about this horse, the 1-turn mile. Maker, dangerous trainer also, but I don't think the dirt is his forte, so to say. So I think everything that John said is correct. And I'm going to pass on Micah. Not for me. Not for me. Okay. John made great points about the one turn, and yeah.
I'll tell you what I see this one. If this one runs the fractions that ran in that allowance race, he's going to smoke the field, and no one's going to catch him. It's just by the charts, by the Thorograph numbers, he comes up back-to-back negative ones. Nobody else in this field has done that. I see the big improvement. He's running lights out, blowing people out by open lengths. Excuse me. In last race, he just missed in the Cigar Mile. Yeah, the distance is a guy. I respect what you guys have to say about the distance.
What about the speed? I mean, 45, and I mean, he's got to regulate that speed. I have to tell you that.
Well, I think that's the horse's only chance is to try and run them off their feet. And this one now with Medaka Road out of there, this is the speed of the speed now in this race. And I think anybody that can read a running line can see that by the numbers, at the calls. So, but yeah, that's his game. I think he has a shot to do it, at least by the sheets and even by the Brisnet. He looks like the fastest horse most recently. I see him as a contender. I'm using him to win, and I'm using him in exotics. Okay.
All right.
Number 11, John, the defending champion. Robert pointed this out to me earlier today. There has never been a defending champion come back and win back-to-back since they've been running this race now 2017 and so 2018 and up. There's never been a defending champ. What do you think of White Barrio, 4-1?
Did they retire? No, they don't come back to defend the championship. I mean, look, White Barrio, great horse. Horse of the year, $7 million in earnings. But is he the same horse we saw in the past? No. He has issues. He has a history of foot problems. I mean, when Dutcher took over, he took care of the foot problems. He did well. But then the bad start race in the Met Mile, International Treasure, he gave him back to Saffy. Saffy did well with them, but he just couldn't stay healthy. Because you saw that break from the Whitney to the, to the Jockey Club, and then nothing. He had issues in the Breeders' Cup. They scratched him. He was supposed to run in the race, a Skippy Long Stocking run. They scratched him because they say he wasn't ready and everything else. He's not the same horse. He's talented, but at 7 years old with physical issues that's starting to affect him more and more, I can't. And I hate saying that because he's a great horse. He's a horse we don't see, a Grade 1 winner running at 7 years old. That doesn't happen in America anymore. And you want to see a horse like this run well and everything else. I just wonder if he had gotten the stud deal that he wanted, would he still be running or not? So to me, look, I love White Barrio. I love Saffy. Irad has done a great job on him. I think he's on the downside. He's definitely not going to be improving off his races in the past. I don't know if he ever get a top like he did in the past. And I hate to say it, but I had to go against him here and keep him off the board.
Okay. Thanks, John. Robert, what do you think?
Listen, I had him last year. I was when he ran down that stretch, I was screaming. And when he won, I was elated. I love the horse, but I just feel he's not the same horse he used to be, as John pointed out. I just think he's lost a step, and he's just. But respect him. $40,000 purchase, $7 million. That's pretty good. As my friend Billy Barnett said, the horses can't read. They can't read how much they're sold and bought for. So, I mean, great horse, but just not the same horse. And Saffy's a great trainer. He took him over, as John pointed out, from Dutro, and he did great things with this horse. And maybe perhaps he should be retired, but that's one last hurrah. Wouldn't be surprised if he retires after this race, but just lost a step. That's my feeling. And I mean, Alan, you have liked this horse throughout, and every time you say you like him, he lets you down. I'm just saying there's a pattern there, but that's
Well, he
all.
didn't let me down in this race last year. I used him
Well,
too.
well, no, but I was just saying after he didn't let me down either. But what I'm saying is after that, these last couple of races, 3 races, you always point him out to me, and he really doesn't do anything. That's all I'm saying.
Do you like him underneath for anything, Robert?
Not for me. I mean, I'm not really playing that kind of exotic. I might be playing some exactas and some doubles from the 12th into the 13th, but I'm not gonna go 3 deep. Or 4 deep.
Well, I think he's a win contender. I'm definitely using him on top.
Don't give up, darling. Yes, like Rocky Balboa. He will be the Rocky Balboa if he wins this race.
It has nothing to do with being a fan of the horse.
You better get him on top of that big Pegasus, the Trojan horse, John, which cost them gazillions of dollars.
Yep.
It reminds me of the Trojan horse.
Right, I could see him coming in and winning, and there's not a dry eye in the house over at Gulfstream Park.
Wow.
It'd be tremendous. Well, here's the thing, and I'm not saying this as a fan. He's 8 for 10 on this track, and if you look at his numbers at Gulfstream, is Brisnet, probably the DRF, the Thurgraph, he's negative all the time. Last year when he won this, and this is only 360-something days ago, he ran a -3 on this track. And he lights out at Gulfstream Park. He has Irad Ortiz up. He has the stud trainer, Safi Joseph Jr., and he has the pace scenario where he can come right into this, waltz right into the front with everybody else battling it out up front. I could see a Whiteout Barrio and Tappan Street being the 2 that are fighting it out at the end.
I see a little bit of poster like in him. You know what I mean? And Tappan Street, of course.
Tappan Street. Yeah, I could see those 3 fighting for the freaking exacta. But anyway, I definitely see him as a win contender. Yeah, I'm gonna use him. I'll definitely use him to win. He's my top choice out of all of these. So of course, no matter what exotic I play, I'm going to use him somewhere, even if it's underneath with one of the others I like.
Right on,
there are a few others I like too. So yeah, he's my top choice.
Take it to the rim strong, like Jordan. Take it to the rim strong, baby.
Yeah. Take it to the rim strong, man. None of this
race. If you win this race, your nickname's going to be Air Allen. Okay, John, you hear me? Air Allen.
I hear it.
Take it to the rim, or like Dr. J, or none of this finger roll stuff. We're going to go right in, man.
All right.
Number 12.
Allen doesn't want to win, but he wants to break like Daryl Dawkins. And
that's a bit Daryl Dawkins.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not as a fan. It has nothing. I see a lot of good things about the horse. That's what it is. If I thought it was over for him, I would say it. I wouldn't try and
listen, you got to go
smoke at anybody because I like the horse as a fan. That wouldn't be right. I think he has a shot.
Okay.
Number 12, Brother Kenny. John.
This is an intriguing horse. Okay. You look at Brother Kenny. First 2 starts, he ran in those restricted main special weight races they had in Kentucky. Did nothing. Then they ran him in 4 races on the all-weather at Turfway Park. Competitive, finishing the money a couple of times. Didn't do anything. But then they put him back on dirt. Voila. Something happens. 2-turn mile regular dirt race, breaks the maiden by neck. Optional claimer. 2 turns regular dirt, mile 70, wins. Goes into the Indiana Derby, finishes 3rd to Tip Top Thomas, But again, he had the lead before tiring. Now, granted, it was a regular finish and everything else, but you have to wonder about the inexperience of running consistently on dirt. Because when you run on the Tapeta or weather and you run on dirt, it's 2 different types of styles and everything else. He was just learning. He was just getting good at that point. Comes back in the West Virginia Derby. He was third to Chunk of Gold. But then he comes back in the Bourbon Flight, going a mile and 3/16 to Churchill Downs, and he wins, beating Chunk of Gold. He runs in an optional claimer because he wasn't going to go into the Breeders' Cup because they felt he wasn't ready, and he made a middle move to reach contention before trying to finish fourth. They sent him out to Zia Park, wins the Zia Park Derby. After the race, he gets sold to More Play and to Michael Ivorone. So, God, imagine how much tan he's going to have tomorrow and the outfits he's going to be wearing. Oh, boy. That's going to be interesting. And More Play, they've done very well. They won with She's So Spicy, and now they're saying that she's the best turf sprinter in the world. And due to match race, Kaying Rising. I mean, they won match race against each other, so they're very confident. Jose D'Angelo, he's done an outstanding job. Look who did with Bentonado winning the Breeders' Cup Sprint. So this is first time D'Angelo. And the thing is, when you get a horse for the first time like this, you just have to wonder, do they see something that could make this horse better? And this horse has been working lights out. And you just have to wonder, did they make the purchase because they saw something that they can improve this horse? He's only a 4-year-old. And the thing is, at 30-1, breaking out of post 11. Remember, there is a scratch. He moves over one. He's got the type of running style where he could show tactical speed. He could be further back. Who knows what they're going to do? He's going to be ridden by Javier Castellano, who definitely knows what he's doing out there at the racetrack. And to me, at 30-1, first time D'Angelo, first time off the private purchase, you need to use him in your exotics. Of course, you'd be crazy not to use him in your multi-race exotic bets because, look, at 30-1, it doesn't take much for you to get your money back and then some, no matter who wins. But to me, what I'm going to do, if I could somehow scrounge up $396, I am going to do my 10-cent superfecta box key of Brother King with all. $396. He's 30-1. So no matter where he finishes, chances are you're going to be getting a profit because I don't think you're going to get a favorite 1, 2, 3 ahead of him. So you're going to get paid no matter what. So to me, that's the type of bet where if he runs fourth, I win. So that's good. If I can somehow find $396, that's going to be my bet for the race.
I have nothing to say. I mean, I respect what John said. I mean, he just opened my eyes to this horse. I like Jose D'Angelo also. He's Motown, Uncle Mo. I like the breeding. Bought for $500,000. Must have thought something about him.
Mm-hmm.
So, it could be a very dangerous horse. He loves to close. He could close. He can go to the lead. And probably in this case, I would assume he's going to be closing, John. It could be a dangerous horse. And, maybe a little fly bet on him, just as a saver for me, would be a bad idea. So that's my feeling on it. John said everything. He's the expert. And I'm just a novice here,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll put a little win money on him. Sure.
Win of small. Okay. Yeah, horses are beautiful. Since he's moved to dirt, he has a beautiful thoroughgraph pattern. He just keeps getting slightly better all the time. He's only 3. Like Robert mentioned, a $550,000 horse. Goes to D'Angelo's barn. First time in his barn, going back 600 races. Trainer changed to D'Angelo. He wins 22% of the time, and he's in the money 54% of the time. But this, considering the race conditions for this race and the sheet numbers this horse is putting up and the direction he's moving and the connections and Castellano, the experienced, big stakes winning jockey. I'm not going to use him in the win spot, but I will be using him underneath. I would use him maybe third, fourth in a dime super. Yeah, I respect it. He's moving the right way. He doesn't have one of these crazy patterns where he's like, 1 minute, he looks lights out. The next minute it's like, hey, what happened? What's the number of that bus? He's not that type. He's a board hitter, constantly on board. The only time he only missed a board once, and that was 2 back.
Well, there's something else you have to consider with Brother Kenny, because you're looking at that price, $550,000.
Yeah.
How much they paid in one of those digital sales after he won the stake. So that's not his yearling price or his 2-year price. That's how much they sold him after he won the stake in Zia Park.
Oh, I see. Thank you, John.
So the owner saw something.
Oh, yeah,
okay, that's why it says 20. Okay, that's why it says 2025 next to that number.
Right, because it was part of the digital sale.
Wow.
So they went.
That's a nice angle there.
And then they sold them for $550,000, and Moreplay bought them. Now, after winning that stake race, gave them to D'Angelo. So D'Angelo has had plenty of time to work on them, make any adjustments. As you see with those workouts, he's working out great. I mean, look, the horse was working out great prior to winning the stake.
Yeah, look at that.
And then after he wins the stake, he got sold. They shipped him down to Florida. And look at those workouts afterwards.
He's a bullet machine, actually. Yeah.
So it's like, this is the type of horse, but maybe they saw something. He said he's worth the price. They paid that much money for him, and they're going to try to make up all their money in one shot by coming into this race. And at 12-1, I mean, the one thing I do know, Michael Ivarone, that tanned lunatic who thinks he's George Hamilton, but much darker, he's going to go out there and put lots of money at the window on this horse.
Oh, no.
I
30
mean,
to 1 now. 30 to 1.
yeah. So instead of going off at 50-1, he might go off at 30-1 because there's going to be that much money bet, and a lot of people aren't going to play him because the thing about Gulfstream Park, mile and an eighth, they say you don't want any horse outside of post position 8 because they can't win. Hey, rules are made to be broken, people. And who's to say that first time D'Angelo can't break this rule?
Nothing wrong with the way this horse is moving and what he's getting done.
So anybody have $396 I can borrow? Bucks?
Now, what are you saying, John? You would key him on just a 10-cent super with all the horses?
Yeah.
You'd key him first, second, third, and fourth, right? With everybody.
Not keying, you're just doing a box. 10-cent super box, all the horses.
The horse to box is going to be number 12 with all in the box. That's $396. The horse is 30-1.
But 12 all is a box, right? I'm sorry.
That's what I'd be asking for. I'm not keying. I'm keying him in the box.
Right.
And all he has to do is finish at least fourth.
Yeah.
And he should do that. I would think, just the way he's been running. Even by the numbers, by the pattern, and by the race shape.
Yeah, and the way I see it, when you make a bet like this, don't get cute. Okay? If I think he's going to finish in the money, you don't know what else anybody's going to do. Don't get cute by eliminating somebody because chances are he's going to bite you in the butt.
Right.
Okay? Just go with all, even the horses that you don't like, because, hey, we can be wrong, We can make mistakes every once in a while, too. I mean, who's to say that Walter Barrio, who I have not fishing in the money, all of a sudden finds the fountain of youth and finishes second or third, even wins the race.
And he wakes up, right? Yeah.
And if I'd like this horse to be in the money and I screw up because I didn't use that horse, I'd be kicking myself in the butt all night. So don't take a shot at that price. Just go with all and hope for the best.
Right.
All right, now we'll go to the AEs. They haven't announced officially as of now if one of these AEs are going to get in, whether it's 13 or 14. What do you think of Lightning Tones, John?
Not much here. I mean, he ran and won the Sunshine Classic last time out to prep. He's not at this class. He's not that good. He's on the outside post position, and to me, he's just there to fill up space.
All right. So you're passing on him?
Yeah,
Yeah.
passing on him.
What do you think about him?
I have no opinion on the horse. I got to
You
pass.
Okay.
Sorry, Alan.
Yeah, well, I'll just mention something. Okay, by the numbers here, he's a 6-year-old, $10,000 horse. It does sneak onto the board. I'm just, here's a question where I kind of question the Thorograph numbers because he has some of the best numbers
Right.
out of the entries in this field. Like at Gulfstream, especially, he has a 0, which is really low. That's like Skippy Longstocking at his prime numbers. 2 at Gulfstream, a 3. The last race at 3, they're bringing him back on short rest for Castro. This is a case where the numbers say he's going to hit the board if he gets in. He's probably not going to get in. I'll just say his great numbers that fit this race, but he's not running in. He's outclassed and he's way outside. You mentioned that no one wins outside at a mile and an eighth, post 8, and he'd be strung out there in post 12. So he's outclassed, but he has beautiful, beautiful sheet numbers. I'll pass. Excellent sheet numbers, especially at Gulfstream. Okay. Number 14. I don't even think it'll come to this. John, Catalytic. Antonio Sano.
I love Sano as a trainer, but this horse is going to run in this race. He's also entered in the 8th race.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's entered not as an AE, but as an entry?
He's in the 8th race. He's in the body of the race. That's a 9-horse field. So to me, he's going to run in that spot. I mean, if I had a horse who's in a 9-horse field, I'd rather go there than breaking from post 12 going a mile and 8 to Gulfstream Park. So to me, the horse, I don't think he's even being considered for this spot. He's going to run in the 8th race.
Okay. 8th race. And he probably won't even come to this. Okay, thanks, John. And Robert, what do you think of Catalytic?
I am Sano's horse. I mean, I love Antonio Sano, but as John said, the horse may not even run. So I mean, I don't really have too much opinion on the horse. I don't, So I have to yield the floor to you, Alan.
Okay, well, I will say
the floor's been coming out from underneath my feet a lot here tonight.
He finished a distant third to in the Holland's Holiday to Skippy Longstocking and Poster. So both those guys I don't figure to scratch. So he'd have no shot because they kicked his ass the last. No, pass. Like he's another one with some nice Thorograph numbers, but this is not the race for him. I think he'd be better suited running against a different class of horse.
Yeah,
I mean he's even running at the optional claiming level and rarely wins. Pass. So that's it. We got all the notes on this, and
sure did.
And I'll take a screenshot of a snapshot of this with the phone. What everyone says about these horses here: pass, key, pass or underneath.
I mean, Robert and I had the same top 2.
Oh yeah. That is something else. You got to both of you guys had the same top 2, and.
Yep.
And who's your third choice, Robert?
The third choice in here. Let me just take a look of the. I know you kind of.
You had the same top 2. That's amazing.
Kind of convincing me that Brother Kenny might be the third top choice. Why not? I like Post Tappan Street. I guess Disco Time. I guess I would say Disco Time. You never know. It's an unknown factor, but Disco Time, I suppose. But I think I'm gonna put a little win money on the Brother Kenny. I got to respect him. I just watched that race at Zia Park while we were talking. He's a grinder. He certainly is a grinder.
Robert, you mentioned Disco Time, and Robert, what do you think the odds are? Do you think there's any shot of Disco Time, Robert, of missing the board? Top 3?
I think he'll be in the top 4. I mean, the way he ran that, got that 107 buyer. I know it was one turn, but I think he's a good horse. So, I mean, I think he's going to be there at the end. I don't know. I think he'll be in the top 4. Yes.
But can he miss the top 3?
He could, but he might be there. He might be there. I like to discount him.
What do you think, John? Any chance of Disco Time finishing out of the show money?
Yeah, here's a good shot. I mean, look, with his running style, if they all decide to gang up on him, he may not be able to hold on and last. It's going to be very interesting to see what the strategy is with some of these other horses and what these jockeys decide to do with them. I mean, look, he's my third choice. He could be my top choice, but I think the pace factor could affect him here, which is why I'm not making him my first or second choice. I got horses who's going to be further back, who's going to be closing ahead of him. But I have to give him the respect. He is that good. He's 5 for 5 for good reason. He comes from great ownership, great trainer, great jockey. You just have to wonder sometimes, is it enough? So, like I said, I have to respect him. I'm going to be using him. He's going to be there. But if you finish off the board, I'm not going to say I'm expecting it, but it wouldn't surprise me. It does happen depending on what the others do.
I'm not expecting it either, but I agree with you. It's possible. And Robert, I think we're all in agreement on that. It's possible. It's unlikely, but possible.
Though, that's everything.
I think we covered it pretty well here tonight. We covered every single horse, all 3 of us. Those of you who've watched, hopefully we will help guide you in the right direction. You might see things that you might not have looked at earlier in your handicapping, and you see an in-depth look at the horse, looking at it from 3 sets of eyes, and handicapping really on the fly. So not just giving you our thoughts on these horses, but how to actually use them. Give you some ideas that you might want to consider, along with your own, of course. Just don't take our word for it, but hope you enjoyed the show. And Robert, John, thanks so much for joining here.
Thank you.
On the show tonight as guest analysts and actually co-hosts in a way. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much, guys.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Thank you, Alan. It's a blessing to know you. And as you always say, say it.
And I want to thank may the horse be with you, all of you.
And can I do a GoFundMe so I can get $396 for my bet?
Yeah. Tell you what, guys, going forward, I'm thinking about putting together a team for the pick sixes, but I don't know about,
I think we should. I think we can. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I think we could definitely hit it with our heads in there without
Well, the key, we will butt heads. Okay, I can tell you that right now because I've been in teams in the past, and I can tell you one year, Belmont Stakes, our team, we butted a lot of heads, but there was one horse that I liked a lot. Not to win, but I said we have to look at the scenario of the race. 7-horse field, going 7 furlongs in the sprint. You got 6 speed horses and a closer. And if you're going to go and bet in a race with 6 speed horses, you must include the closer. Because if you don't want these 6 horses to beat each other up into the ground. The closer just picks up the pace for the victory. His speed figures weren't good enough. His sheet numbers weren't good enough. But the way the race was going to set up, he was good enough. And guess what? He won.
Oh, boy.
John Hurtler's horse, New York bred, at a huge price. And he hit the pick 6 that day. But that's the thing. When you bet in a team, you have to be open-minded and use horses that you may not like, but you want to make sure any horse that has a shot to win, you try to keep and use. Because if don't, you're going to make a mistake. Because, look, we're all not perfect, but neither are the horses, neither are the jockeys. You want to make sure that they whatever happens, we are covered. So in case something screwy happens, it's not going to kill us.
Got it. Wow, that's yeah. I've heard stories like that too. That sometimes they're going to butt heads, and this is a great horror story of what can happen if. Yeah, you got to be prepared for that because there's going to be times like that, and yeah. Again, I want to thank everybody for watching. Good luck. Enjoy the races. Bet with your head, not over it. As always, guys, thanks again for being here
Thank you,
along
Alan.
with me for covering this big race, $3 million race. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. Best of luck, everybody. Win big. May the horse be with you.
Good luck.
Good luck.